Okay, so the third part of our CMA modules is going to be how we do adjustments to each of these properties. So we're going to take each of these properties and adjust them to make them comparable to the one that we have as our subject property. And that's just simply step 3 in the CMA process here. So we're going to go ahead, once we've selected our comparable properties, which we did in the last session, we're going to go ahead and click on adjustments. And what you'll see is that we then are given a screen where we have our subject property and then we have one of our comparables, and it goes in order. So you can see that this is the first one we were talking about, Skysail Court here, and when we go here, it's the same property here, Skysail Court. So I am going to have that on each screen, the subject property and one of the comparables. And you can see I can bounce through the comparables by using these red arrows, back and next. And because I have 10 comparables, I'm going to be able to use whichever one of them. I use all of them, but I analyze one of them at a time, basically. The other thing is it's going to have a bunch of fields here that I can use to make adjustments for those properties, to make them more comparable to this property, which is my subject property. If you want to add other fields, there is a fields button right here where you can customize which fields show up. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit as well. But right now I'll just show you how to do an adjustment. So for example here, this property here, which is our subject property, has 4 bedrooms, and the comparable property only has 2 bedrooms. So what we're going to do is we're going to just make a $10,000 adjustment for that. And you can see what will happen is the price that this one actually sold for, the adjusted price comes up $10,000. If you want to make a negative adjustment, real easy as well. So this one happens to have a garage, whereas our subject property doesn't. You just simply type a negative and you type 5,000 in, or whatever the number is that you're going to make as an adjustment for the garage or not. Okay. So, and when you click off of it, it's going to adjust the price downwards rather than upwards. But just by having that negative or that minus sign in front of it. Okay. So you make all the adjustments for each for the first property, and then you click the next property. You do the same thing here. You make the adjustments for this one. So maybe you're going to do a little 5,000 adjustments for that 1 bedroom there. And for the size, you're going to do a $10,000 adjustment. And you can see all of a sudden you get an adjusted price that suggests what a comparable price would be for this property if they were similar to each other. Okay, so you're going to do that all the way along for the 10 properties or however many properties that you've chosen as your comparables. If there's something that you think you just want to adjust for this one CMA, you can do what's called add a manual adjustment. So if I add a manual adjustment and I scroll down all the way to the bottom, you can see I can create a manual adjustment for things like school zone, because this might be something that I want to adjust here for this particular CMA. And I can go ahead and I can make an adjustment in this case for this property based upon school zone. So if one is better, the subject property is better, I might make a positive adjustment of whatever, $1,000 or $10,000, we'll say, just to make it significant enough to see the difference in the price. Okay, so that's if you're only going to do the adjustment for this one CMA. If you feel like you're going to be making adjustments for something frequently and you don't see the field here, much better to just go ahead and add in an extra field by hitting fields. And let's say you work in an area where oftentimes you're doing waterfront. So you can go ahead and say, I want to add waterfront in and hit save. When I scroll down, you'll see waterfront is here, and I could make adjustments for waterfront if there's a difference between the two. School zones, anything that you think you might be adjusting for, heating systems, something like that, you can make adjustments for often by that, okay? And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to fill out all of the comparables that you need, all the fields that you need, and do the comparisons for those properties versus the subject property, okay? Once you've done each of those 10, all you're going to do is click Save, and we'll be on to the last part of our process, which is actually setting up our presentation.